Okay, before we made a pretty basic keychain just with your name on a little rectangular plate. Now maybe we're going to try a few more advanced options. Now you might have changed like the material type, and some people get kind of excited because they can change this, make it gold. None of that's going to go through to the 3D printer. Obviously it won't print in gold, but the printers we have are just whatever color you have loaded in there. So you can mess with that just to make it look kind of neat, but other than that, it's not going to change anything about the print. So that's up to you. Now, a couple things you might do just to change this up, maybe make something a little bit more interesting or unique. You can create a new file. Now that was a rectangle we looked at with fillet on the edges, but you can really make whatever shape you want. Another real simple one would be an ellipse or even a circle, but ellipse is pretty simple. You just have to click a couple times to get that shape the way you want. There's no dimension on that. I think this thing dimensions like that. Yeah, so we could do 1.5. Now this would be a little bit more challenging to figure out what the actual perimeter was. So there's a formula for a perimeter of an ellipse. I can't get that where I want. There you go. And I'm okay with an eyeball. I'm not do a whole lot of math here for this, but this is 1.5, so it's about 3 inches by maybe 1.5. So this is more or less the same size as that previous one we did with the rectangle. Again, you would do like that 0.05 inch plate. Okay, so you could change the shape like that. Now you could even do kind of like a free-form shape. Get rid of that. Just create something new again. Freeform, you start kind of messing around. Maybe you could use the arc, and I don't know. I don't have anything in mind here, but I don't know what you would want to create. You could do lines. You could do arcs, you could do lines. Again, the dimensions of that would start getting kind of interesting, but just try to keep in that same range for the size. Now the more things you put on it, that's going to really increase the amount of time it takes for the printer to make it. Sometimes it's just too complex. If you make really small features, like if you have like jagged pointy teeth on it or something like that, they could break off. They also could be pretty sharp. So just some things to think about when you start designing like that. Alright, so I'll close that. And sometimes you get into these. This one would probably, I don't anticipate any problem, but sometimes you get into these and some of the lines don't snap together and it just won't extrude. So simpler is probably better. Alright, so we can close that. Nope, don't need it. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. Alright. Alright, so we have our ellipse. Now, in the other video we just did a real simple text, and I suppose you could have done this at the same time, but let's say you wanted to do like a different text. So this has almost all of the same kind of fonts and things that you would have in Word, and probably pulls it right out of your Word software. Okay, so one of these has the different types of text. Or there it is. Yeah, so there's no preview, but if you know a type of font that you like, there's like a scripty kind of one. Anyway, just pick something. Okay, now if I remember these, sometimes they don't, especially that kind of blurry one, they don't want to extrude. Oh, it did. Imagine that. Okay, so there you go. So that's just a different kind of font that you could use, and there's lots of options there. And then, so you might want to incorporate like a logo. So I'm going to start with something real simple. Now, if you're able to, you can kind of just split your screen, or if you have something that you can kind of look at and you can freeform draw with the line tool. Another thing you could do is just bring in a graphic. So, for example, I went to Texas A&M. So maybe you want to get one of these logos, and well, that shouldn't be that hard. Try that again. Save it. JPEG's good. What did I? It said JPEG. Huh. Well, not sure. Okay. You can come into Inventor. Okay, we need another sketch. Going a little faster here. And over there on the Insert tab is, what in the world was that? A option for picture. Let's see, do we have what type of file? Default. Huh. Well, that graphic didn't come through. Let's try one more time. Yeah, PNG might work. Give it a try. PNG. Huh. Probably should have done a sample first before I started the video. Pictures, where are you? Huh, okay. There it is. Whoa, okay, it's big. Bigger than the keychain is, so you can click a corner and drag. Alright. Zoom in. The reason why we might do that is now I can trace the thing. Now this one, I probably could have found the fonts and just made letters with fonts. But anyway, so now I have something I can trace. So now it's not actually tracing the object. You're just drawing lines. And this, yeah, it could get pretty complex. And you see all of the different constraints Inventor's putting on here, all these perpendicular lines. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes it really irritates you. So let's just make this really, really basic just for the sake of time. Okay, and you get things kind of wonky, but when you get that the way you want, then of course you can finish your sketch, and hopefully if you got all the corners connected, you could start extruding that text or that shape and get what you want out of that. And you can really get carried away. So something simple again is better, like a logo. I wouldn't try to do anything super complex. I've had a student do Batman, and the Batman logo looks pretty simple, but when you start getting into it, it's kind of challenging. Can be really challenging. Yeah, just get a real simple one like that. So challenge yourself if you want, but just realize you got limited amount of time, and can get kind of challenging. So again, for the logos, you just create a sketch and you go into image. That one's even bigger than the Aggie A&M one. All right, so that's the basics of maybe an image trace. All right, and that's just a couple of little ideas that you could maybe explore, trying to make your keychain a little bit more interesting. And again, we're just trying to keep these simple. The more features you have, the longer the print is, the more opportunity it is for the print to fail. So something fun, but keep it easy. All right, good luck.